Hi, this is Kit Win. Today I want to present and propose a way for POD's PMO team to improve their ability to do system capacity planning. PODs, as you are all well aware, we're a storage company. We do a lot of project in IT that are related to the system to improve our overall business operations. Some of those projects are migrating to a new application or refreshing our system infrastructure so that the business can run smoothly using IT tools. One thing that pods lack is our ability to do proper capacity planning, especially on the system infrastructure side. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that. We all know that pods as a business rely on information technologies, its applications, and its system infrastructure to do orders, to provide quotes to our potential or current customers and clients. However, when we do a project, we're always not establishing the proper resource capacity that are needed to either migrate the current infrastructure into or upgrade the infrastructure that our current workload and application uses. So the opportunity to improve this in this area is it's immense, right? The way we should be doing this is we need to in general we need to plan the system capacity so that it aligns with the overall project that we're doing. And some of these key area that we can look into is, for success is providing workload analytics of the systems, workload scenarios, and identify the right and proper resources so that we could be successful in projects that is related to information technology department. Some of the other things that we can do is, there's other alternative that we can look at in order to do this. Capacity planning is just not just workload analytics or reports, but we need to collect these information on the workload, store it somewhere so we can we can reference it. Also, the ability to map out all the systems that are currently used and what system connects to what is very important to how the operation and the business transaction flow. One of the thing, as I mentioned before, is our ability to collect information, especially in the system infrastructure capacity planning, needs improvement. We tend to be doing this manually for a long time, where a PMO would go to a system engineer or a group of a system engineer and ask, what is our current infrastructure look like? How many servers? How many resources? That could get lost in translation when we put it into a project or into our planning. What we ought to do is, take the time to implement a capacity planning tool that will help automate the collection of all these information from system resources to current workload to resource utilization. This will help make a smooth transition from collecting the capacity and resources that are needed into generating to a report to provide to hardware acquisition team to collect. The benefits for using a capacity planning tool is that it is much more efficient and more reliable in collecting and mapping out the current resources that we have. This will then be able to generate into a report that we could all look into and figure out how much additional resources that are needed, or what type of resources that are needed, so that we could create and generate a report for that and provide to the needed teams to acquire these hardware for the project. On top of that, this will also, the benefit with this is that it will then have a collection of information and store it for us, where it acts as our inventory management on top of the efficiency of mapping out the resources that are needed. We now have a generated report of all things that we're currently using, whether that's the number of servers, number of CPU, what type of network equipment that are used. So now we have a inventory management system on top of that. As like anything that's new, the risk for this would be costs and time. The cost would be the initial cost for acquiring this capacity planning tool and the implementation of it. That will set us back a little bit, but there's much to be gained when we implement it. The other risk factor is that, since this is going to be a new tool, no one in the PMO team or even possibly in the system engineering team have used this tool, so we would have to dedicate our time and resource to get them trained up on how to use this capacity planning tool. Because of what I've seen so far within our pods team, as far as we lack in properly always planning for the capacity of system infrastructure when we do a migration or a refresh. I highly recommend that pods acquire a capacity planning tool. This will again help reduce costs overall by reducing the amount of time that are needed to acquire and do some research on what type of system resources we currently have to map it out for acquisition of new system resources. This will scale down the amount of people that are involved. Therefore, overall, going into the future with other projects, it will reduce the cost, because now we don't have to concentrate on having human interaction for many of these hours during the project just to do research on the system resources that are needed. So again, my final recommendation is that pods acquire a capacity or a system capacity planning tool to help out with our current project and our future projects that are related to IT. Thank you very much.